So I've been thinking about for the past couple of days the Kevin Hart situation. No, I have not seen the special. I physically cannot watch cringe content. I feel pain. I feel sick to my stomach. People have been throwing out words about the special as a humiliation ritual, which I like that term. But I think this goes to the heart of the matter. I think the Bible said, and I don't hate bringing up Bible quotes, but I think this is apt for this particular subject. For what is a man if he gains the whole world but loses his soul? The reason why I say that, I quoted that, was I looked at Kevin Hart. He did a Breakfast Club interview, and when I saw him, he looked diminished. Usually, when you see Kevin Hart, he looks very polished, very manicured, very clean. Like his whole entire look, it seems like he's been spending hours and hours just looking in the mirror and making sure not a hair is out of place, not his mustache is not curled or whatever. It's perfectly cut. But when I saw him in the Breakfast Club, he looked like an entirely different person. He looked like he hasn't slept in days. Um, and I just thought of that quote. I just thought of like, what did you think was going to happen? And I looked at him and I heard from some of what he was saying when he was responding to some of the DJs, was that he seemed very angry. He seemed very dismissive. It was okay for that comic to talk about his dead parents. It was okay for that other comic to talk about George Floyd in a way that he should not have. And for Kevin Hart to sit there and smile, it just it put people in a bad light about him and what he's about. And I want to bring up this question to all of you. When you look at Kevin Hart, do you see a leader? Do you see somebody who is going to uplift the black race? Should that even be his job? I know this is more than one question, but I think as people, we tend to look at highly successful individuals, not only put them on a pedestal, but because they achieve so much, where thousands, if not millions, before them or in their same situation haven't even come close to what they've achieved. People like Jay-Z, people like Ice Cube, people like Snoop Dogg, people like Nelly, people like Killer Mike. Um, all these individuals have achieved incredible success, a range of success, and people like Kevin Hart, where he is quote unquote one of the biggest comics comedians on the planet Earth, and to have that special and have, I guess, some of his peers, but I didn't see like a Martin Lawrence. I didn't see a Eddie Murphy. I didn't see a Dave Chappelle. I didn't see a Chris Rock. I didn't see a Jerry Seinfeld. I didn't see a Louis C.K. I would expect that these would be his peers that would want to celebrate him, celebrate all the things that he's done for them. Um, Rest his soul, Patrice O'Neill. If he was still alive, I don't know if he would be there. I think maybe he would, because I know he helped with Kevin Hart's development when he was coming up as a young comic, and a lot of comics cut their teeth with Patrice O'Neill. He really pushed people to be the best comedians that they could possibly be, and I think it would be a sign of respect. But I don't know if Patrice O'Neill. I don't know the man. I don't know Kevin Hart, but I don't know if he would have been at that roast, seeing what has become of Kevin Hart. I think he would rip the hell out of him at that roast. If he was there, he would probably have the best roast out of everyone there. Um, but I think it's important to understand, like, not to put people on the pedestal, not to put these celebrities as some type of idea of uplifting a black race. I think a long time ago, Kevin Hart looked in the mirror, and this is probably before he became famous, or during the middle of his fame, I think he looked in the mirror and said, from this point on, I only care about two things: money, family. And I'm not going to talk about the man's family. It shouldn't be about that. But I think he looked in the mirror and he said, I don't care what people say about me, as long as I'm the biggest comedian on the planet Earth, as long as I make the most money as possible, as long as am in the movies that I need to be in, and my production company is where it needs to be, I don't give a fuck about everything else. And I think he crossed that line and did what he set out to do. And people like Cat Williams, his mortal enemy, being there, you can feel however you want to feel about it. He was there. But I think he's done that. But the manner in which he's done that has definitely taken a toll on him, as evident from his appearance on the Breakfast Club, and as evident as him trying to backtrack or trying to say that he doesn't owe anybody anything. That's more than likely true. But you were the producer of that special. You heard or had some type of, you was privy to some of those jokes, if not all of them, before they were broadcast. Why didn't you draw a line? Why didn't you put your foot down? So yeah, and to closing, I don't think we should put celebrities on the pedestal. I don't think it's necessary to look at a person like Kevin Hart and think that he should be in charge of uplifting a black race. But I do think it's imperative that it should be a cautionary tale that no matter how high you feel you are in terms of fame and wealth and privilege and stuff like that, if you can sleep at night, if you can sleep knowing that, okay, I'm doing something that's not only making myself money, but I'm doing something that's not hurting anybody. Um, I'm not I'm not destroying my legacy in the process of getting what I want. I'm not only a person of integrity, but I'm a person with a backbone that's willing to draw a line, even if it means delaying some of my fame or delaying some of my fortune. I know who I am. I know the things that I'm willing to give and things that I'm not willing to give. And I think that's evident by the, I wouldn't say quality of the people he had on the stage, but in terms of when you think of someone like Kevin Hart and the amount of fame and fortune he has, not seeing those whole high profile comedians in the space, and Cheryl Underwood, she's a terrific comedian. She is a high powered comedian. She is a comedian's comedian. If I had to put anybody that was of that, I would definitely put her there. I would definitely put Cat Williams there to some extent. But when you think of someone who's achieved the same fame, you would think of seeing someone of the same kind of parity in terms of celebrity status, and those people weren't there, and that kind of tells you something. That tells you they didn't think it was worth their time. And to have someone like those comedians that said those things, um, and for Kevin Hart to kind of allow that, just let you know what type of person they are, but also tells you what type of person Kevin Hart is. It should also tell you the type of person you should not want to be. Or if you want to be it, that's fine, you know. But I think you should look deep, especially if you're trying to achieve fame, especially if you're trying to achieve fortune, and say, what are you willing to allow? And what are you willing to not allow? What are you willing to give up? What are you willing not to give up? And I think if you know yourself, if you know who you are to your core, it'll be near impossible for someone to kind of take that away from you. No matter how much money they throw at you, no matter how much fame they throw at you, you would stand 10 toes down. And in this moment, I think this is a teachable moment for Kevin Hart, that he didn't stay 10 toes down. He did what he did. The world saw what he is. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised in the outcome. So yeah, that's all I got.